Alright, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to be talking about some of these odd server power supplies. So if you look at this bad boy, it's got a normal like plug over here on this side. And when I tell everybody, and when they're looking at server power supplies, the most important thing is to find out what it's rated for, the voltage. So input voltage is 100 to 240 volts. So that means this power supply can run off of 110 all the way up, 220, 240. So some power supplies are not that broad of a range. A lot of power supplies will only run off 220 to 240 volt, or it'll say like 200 to 240. That means if you plug it into a 110 outlet, potentially bad things will happen, or no power will actually get made out of the power supply. But yeah, so this is the actual power supply unit. This one is a Power One 1100 watt, so the PFE 1100-12-054RA. I got this one from good old Parallel Miner. I don't know if this exact model is still in stock, because I've had this one for a few weeks now, and they're selling out of power supplies like crazy. But a server power supply is a server power supply. So, and what I mean by that is, if you go on to Parallel Miner, I'll have their link down below in the description, and you're looking at a power supply, they'll have the breakdown. But 9 times out of 10, server power supplies are gold, platinum, or up rated. So most of them are not going to be a cheap style power supply, because they are meant to run in very, very harsh conditions inside of these little tiny cases, rack mounted cases, and that kind of thing. Now this one is a little odd compared to the ones that I normally recommend, which are the HP style. Up here they have a breakout board, you plug in 6 pins, and then you run those down and plug those into your cards. This breakout board is smaller, and it's got a negative and a positive terminal. It still puts out 12 volt, and it still ends up with let's see here, hold on, if I can get the plug, you still end up with a 6 plus 2, so an 8 pin for a PCIe Express card. So you could power risers, or also the cards. This power supply does put out 1100 watts. I think at 110 it's rated a little bit lower, 800 watts. But I think I paid like 30 bucks for the power supply, the breakout board, and the wires. Obviously, prices right now are a little bit higher, but well, hello there. But server power supplies are still a lot cheaper for the quality and the amount of power you can get out of compared to an ATX power supply. Getting a 1000 watt gold or platinum rated ATX power supply is going to set you back a pretty penny, whereas hold on one second, I just checked on eBay. Obviously eBay listings don't last long, but this unit with the breakout board and the wires right now is available on eBay for 45 bucks. So I'm not going to say I totally recommend this unit. The one thing that I don't like are the cables are held down by these bolts. And it originally comes with, here, let me show you one of the cables here. These are the connectors. So I would recommend, if you do buy this, you cut these connectors off, you put a regular ring connector on so it can't slide out, and then you bolt it down that way. It's still not as quick or as portable or mobile as just having them straight plug into a breakout board, but nobody's made a breakout board like that for these yet. I don't see that happening because there's so many of those available. But yeah, these still can be bought and power some quite a bit of hardware for pretty cheap. So I'm going to be plugging this in and running one of these old 1060s. This is the one that has display issues, so I'm going to plug it in a non-display setup over in Hive, see if it'll fire up in Linux and how it's actually going to mine. And I'm out of plugs over there on that system, and I'll show you what I do, how I combine an ATX setup with a server power supply, because obviously these bad boys don't have a 5 volt out. So without a separate, which we call Pico power supply unit, to power the motherboard and give you a 24 pin, you only have these 6 plus 2 pins, and you can't run a motherboard off of these, not without an adapter. So yeah, that's a whole nother topic. Alright, so this is the system I'm going to be adding the server power supply to, and it's got an ATX, I believe this is an 850 watt, it's powering a 1060, and I have a 3070 up there, and we're pretty much tapped out. I actually, I have one extra PCIe connector right there, and yeah, that's just not enough to plug a whole nother card in. So I'm gonna end up setting this like right here in that area. I'm gonna run these cables over and plug them in and put another card right here. But yeah, so I'll show you how I power it up. That's the biggest thing. I always power up my auxiliary power before you power up the motherboard. And what I mean by that is, even if you're running two ATX power supplies and you don't have them linked together, you always power the auxiliary before you power the motherboard, because if you power the motherboard on and then the auxiliary, the cards may not have power and they may not register during post. And post happens really fast on this newer hardware, and if they don't register in post, then they're not going to register in the operating system, and it's going to show that you have no GPUs. Alright guys, so I have the server power supply here. It's plugged into the card and the riser. Riser is plugged into the motherboard. Now this server power supply, unlike some other ones, does not have a button at the back to turn it on or off. As soon as you plug it in, it's going to give itself power, and I'll show you that here now. So look at that. She's live action. She makes a little bit of noise. Now I'm going to flip power on here, and we're actually going to power on the entire system. Fan kicked on because it recognized, like, you know, motherboard's talking, everything should be hunky-dory. Now let me log in and see if that card actually comes online. Then that means this bad boy is doing its job, which it does have like a green light on right there. Alright guys, what is up? I was looking for those power supplies, and it looks like they are sold out on Parallel Miner, but I did find them on eBay. So let me flip the screen around, and then I was actually cruising through Parallel Miner, and there's some really good deals right now, and actually probably better than me buying that other power supply, but we'll get into that. Let me flip on over here. There we are. Okay, so here is the Power One. It's the PFE 1100. This one's $35 with no breakout board, so you still have to get a breakout board. You still have to get cables, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even gonna put this link there because these are probably gonna sell out. But if you want them, they're called the Power One 1100 watt. Now, what I suggest getting, and now that they're on sale and they're actually, it's a better deal, is these right these right here. Or no, sorry, that's not the ones. Let me keep going down. Where are they? We will need that. 750 was the 1200. There's a build your own 750 watt. That's actually a really good deal. Okay, build your own 750 gold rated HP server power supply. This comes with a breakout board, and you can pick how many cables you want. So if you wanted 4 cables and you wanted the X7 breakout board, $31 for a 750 watt gold rated power supply. If you wanted more cables, 12 cables, and you wanted the X, $49, or if you wanted the bigger breakout board, $53. So still like a way better deal. Now the 1200 watt, I saw it on here, and of course now it may be gone. 750, 750, 750, 1500. Well, sorry about that, guys. I thought it was on here. Let me look at popularity. Oh, here it is. This is the bee's knees, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a 94% platinum rated HP 1200 watt power supply. It's kind of weird. I started off with this video talking about an entirely different power supply, but now by the time we actually got to availability, it's like I can't even recommend it anymore because the price on this other stuff's a better deal. So anyway, you can get one of these platinum power supply. You can say 8 cables and the X6 breakout board, $68, and I'm pretty sure. Oh no, available on back order. So these aren't in stock either. Dang. Okay. Out of stock. Is everything going out of stock right now? Were those 750 watts available in stock? Let me go back and look. This video has just been, it's turning into a train wreck, guys. I started recording it earlier in the day, and I swear the other ones were in stock. And then these, let's see here, HP 750 watt, Let's do 8 cables and a X7 breakout board out of stock. Oh, okay. It's the breakout boards, it looks like. So it's the yeah, the X7s are out of stock, the X11s are out of stock, and the X6s are in stock. So yeah, okay, good to know. And a lot of people were asking me if I buy a server power supply and I want to plug in, run my entire motherboard off of it, what do I need? And what you need is these Pico power supply modules. So 160 watt, the way it works is, if the picture will load. So you have it, a wire plugged into your actual server power supply. Then it comes over and it adapts it into a 24 pin. And it also gives you a SATA power so you can put a hard drive or SSD, that kind of thing on there. So yeah, super simple. And you get the CPU power for the motherboard. So 6-pin in, then you get SATA out, CPU out, which is the dual 4 pins, and then the 24 pin. I will put a link for Parallel Miner down below. Their website sometimes is a little cumbersome to navigate because they have literally tons and tons of stuff on here. So, and just be cognizant of the fact that depending on your combination, I guess they're running out of certain breakout boards. Some stuff will say it's out of stock. I'm actually curious now, is that 1200 watt out of stock, or was it just the breakout board? 1200 watt, let's see, 8 cables, X6, available on back order, available on back order, and out of stock. So it looks like the 1200 watt power supplies, you can't get your hands on them anymore, but you still can with these 750 watt power supplies. And for 30 to 40 bucks for 750 watts, and that's a gold rated power supply. You can daisy chain them together too. You could do 2 750 watt power supplies that give you 1500 watts, realistically, 12 to 1300 usable watts, because I don't like to push mine up to 100%. A lot of people like to follow that 80% rule. I feel like that's a good idea. Keep things safe, keep things below their max, so you get that longevity out of them. And the biggest thing is keeps the heat down, because as soon as these power supplies get pushed really hard, they start heating up, and then that little tiny fan right there, that thing goes and it just sounds like a jet engine about to take off. But if you keep the power low on them, you can't even really hear them. So I guess I'll quit dragging this video out. This video definitely took a turn, what I was originally trying to show you guys, but it is what it is. You guys have a good one. We will be back momentarily. I guess I'll see you tomorrow, and thanks for watching. So adios.